Why has looking at the night sky appealed to humans for centuries? The more we look out in the universe, the more questions can be asked that we cannot answer, unless of course we take to the Vedic knowledge that describes in detail different forms of life inhabiting the three planetary systems. Hello, my name is Dardas and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I want to give you a short presentation of Vedic Cosmology and the philosophy behind the existence of unlimited multiple universes and the structure of this very universe we inhabit. The source of reference for the entirety of the video will be the Srimad Bhagavatam as well as other Vedic Puranas. Of course, we will also discuss some common beliefs and speculations of parallel universes, as well as the fact of our senses being too limited to conceive the entirety of the universe by themselves. According to Shukadeva Goswami, the universe is categorized in 14 living spheres. The systems are further differentiated by the conceptions and beliefs the living beings have at these places. These are commonly known as the heavens, the hellish worlds, and the earthly kingdom or intermediate kingdom. They are categorized according to the various types of suffering and enjoyment one can achieve there. We are here in the intermediate world of Bhuloka, also known as Earth. Well, actually Earth is just one planet within the Bhuloka system. There are said to be other planets inhabited by similar living beings. There are 400,000 types of human races mentioned in the Vedas, and humans reside in such Bhuloka systems, as well as the heavens and hells. The human-like form is actually considered to be very auspicious, because God favors the humans to achieve residency in his eternal kingdom, even more than he favors the pious demigods, who are busy enjoying the highest forms of material sense enjoyment with their long duration of life. However, so far the human in our history has only reached uninhabitable places that appear like deserts, and so we cannot first-hand see how other places than Earth, which are inhabitable, could look like. Therefore, in order to dive into these worlds, the Srimad Bhagavatam opens descriptions of the 14 planetary systems and the various ways of life for the living beings there. Of course, you can see in this chart that the places are divided by top to bottom, and we are in the middle. Now, who can say where is top and bottom in the universe? Well, the Vedas say that the universe is actually limited and surrounded by a manifold layer of material elements compressing it like an egg-like shell, and the directions of higher to lower refers to the living standards one experiences when accepting a material body there. Here on Earth we get awarded pain and pleasure, therefore we are considered in the middle. Also, this world is known as the place of karma. So those taking birth here have gotten the opportunity to either raise themselves up in the evolutionary ladder or fall down again into the animal kingdom by misbehavior and struggling in the realm of eat or be eaten. In the heavenly planets, enjoyment is more undisturbed and one has a longer duration of life, as well as higher living standards of wealth, beauty and knowledge. We don't experience diseases or fatigue. Palaces made of gold and heavenly gardens where demigods can enjoy sex pleasure without annoying pregnancy and in full youth for their entire lifespan. Many religions promise these heavens, but Shri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Brahma bunavaloka punaravartinurajuna mamopetya tu kaunteya punarjanma navidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. In order to reward the child for nice behavior, the parents give him a sweet. Similarly, souls that acted piously in the past can get rewarded for that with a higher birth on the heavenly planets. However, such enjoyment is temporary, and after enjoying for a few thousand years in such a way, one has to take birth again on Earth and again prove himself to be worthy to attain heaven. On the other side, of course, there are also the hellish worlds. Hell is real, at least according to the Vedas. But unlike the Christians that claim hell is a place of eternal damnation, it is only temporary in the Vedas. Those that are murderous and great demons take birth there just to get punished. defiant of God and his laws their entire life. They tortured other living beings for their personal gain and pleasure. After death, the jiva is dragged into the court of Yamaraj, and Yamaraj judges their good and bad deeds, awarding them the next life to suffer and enjoy the consequences of one's own actions. However, as you see, there are 7 layers of hellish worlds, and not all are described to be places of suffering. Descriptions reach to planets where Nagas, which are a type of human-like serpents that reside in lower planetary systems, are endowed with great beauty and knowledge of architecture, living in palaces made of rubies and lapis lazuli that reflect the moonlight in such a way that even at night the palaces are illuminated by the moonlight. Nagas live in their underwater cities, playing instruments and carrying weapons such as tridents. So an actually fully fleshed out society of intelligent half-men, half-snakes. But not only Nagas live their own happy lives there are also subterranean heavens, where each man born there is awarded the company of 3 wives for the duration of 1 day of Lord Brahma, and he enjoys sex life and various other sensual pleasures. They do not get diseased and neither they get old age, but they take birth and die after the accumulation of pious deeds is exhausted. They are all atheists, but they have done good deeds, so still they are rewarded with pleasure even if they don't know why. They have no fears except at the time of partial destruction, where the lower parts of the universe are destroyed as Lord Brahma's day passes and he goes to sleep for the same duration, where only the higher places of Satyalok, Tapalok and Janalok are not destroyed. These descriptions are wonderful and they truly raise the question: are there more worlds than this where we can exist and live? Are there even more universes outside this limited universe where intelligence exists? The Vedas say yes, though it is not likely for us to see any of these places unless we die and the soul passes on to the next life. In this world, we are both enjoying and suffering while having the chance to escape the vicious cycle known as samsara, or repeated birth and death in the human form of life. It is possible to attain divinity by using this body given to us, but to achieve that we must ask the question of what is the purpose of human life and what is the purpose of this universe's existence. The personality of Godhead is perfect and complete, and because he is completely perfect, all emanations from him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because he is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. When we look at this place, it does not appear to be very perfect, especially in today's world where we always fear war and the financial situation. The rich become richer and the poor become poorer as diseases and civil unrests unfold and we quarrel away our life in material pursuits. Krishna therefore advises that every intelligent human being should abandon the places of death and reside in his eternal kingdom, which is known as Vaikuntha, Ayodhya or Goloka Vrindavan. We know we are in a universe with many planets, but we can only really perceive a few of them with our limited technology and our limited senses. So the question comes, what if there are multiple worlds in which we could live? What if there are even multiple universes in which we could exist? Multiple places where life is seen in many forms, birds, trees and other species not known to us on this earth. What if all these places are places of the repeated misery of samsara, or birth, death, old age and disease, and just as we need some qualification to reside in the country by having a valid citizen membership, we can attain the qualification to reside in Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means freedom from anxiety. In God's kingdom there is eternal peace, no food shortage of any kinds, and freedom of repetition of birth and death. We may desire to go out of this body and explore these wonderful places, Who can tell us what happens after death anyway, right? But this information we can get from the Shastra or the Vedic literature. Krishna, the speaker of Bhagavad Gita, has declared to his friend and devotee Arjuna that he should not seek the places of this material world, knowing that all beautiful, glorious and mighty creations spring from but a spark of his splendor. God has appeared in many cultures and is worshipped in different ways and forms, even concepts, but his ways are often said to be inconceivable. Just how does this universe work? How is it happening that our planets keep their orbits? According to scientists, we might be struck any time by an asteroid and life can go extinct, but somehow that hasn't happened yet. So, is it just by chance that we can live? How is it just happening by chance that we have water, breathable atmosphere, and so many different forms of life? Did it happen without any cause and reason? Or is there a supreme scientist who has thought about all this and gave the universe the laws that keep things working in their ways, so we can now ponder on the goal of human life? The Isopanisad says with this verse that the universe exists for two purposes. One is to facilitate the conditioned souls a home for their residence, being able to enjoy according to their whims, while offering a chance in the human form of life to give up all material pursuits and instead turn our face towards the eternal loving service of God and revive our eternal loving relationship with Him. How long we wander from one body to the next is our decision, but those seeking refuge in God's embrace may turn away their attention from Maya or the material energy and instead use their time to pursue self-realization. Our Earth and solar system is wonderful. The moon goes from our vision in an exact time every month. It is quite reliable. So not surprising the Vedas used the moon to calculate the months in a year, because they knew that it moves at a set speed around the Earth's orbit. Like modern scientists, they knew the year is not exactly the same, so all 3 years there is an extra month called the Purushotta month, which is actually highly auspicious. The solar and lunar calendar are different, but for natural calculation, the moon is always superior, because we can observe the lunar phases each passing day and calculate the weeks and days easily by the passing of full moon and new moon. Today our solar calendar's calculation might also be scientific and accurate, but without modern technology and constant helpers like physical calendars, smartphones and computers, it would be very difficult for us to keep up the exact date. We can only be certain of things we experience ourselves, right? But unfortunately our senses are imperfect and limited. I myself, for example, can only see well if I wear glasses. But without, I could not even recognize a known person when he is 2 meters in front of me. Similarly, there are many things like radiation and wind which we know exists but cannot perceive with our eyes. Therefore it is foolish to believe it cannot be possible that other forms of life can exist on other planets with suitable bodies to fit their living conditions, and that form of life might be very well advanced and civilized, even more than us, because they follow ethics that keep them perpetually in wealth and peace. Although there are wars in the heavenly regions, they are caused by foreign invaders, because the asuras, or demons, desire the wealth of the places of Indra and sometimes gather an interplanetary army, and with spaceships made with unknown technology they can travel between planets. These are all wonderful descriptions of the Puranas indeed. This right now, of course, we can just speculate. We are currently not able to verify these Vedic statements, but once death comes to this body, our soul will be dragged into another. It doesn't matter whether you believe or not, reincarnation is a fact, and it happens so long as we do not care to re-enter our eternal loving relationship to the Supreme Person who is known in the Vedas as Sarva Karana Karanam, or the cause of all causes. To conclude this video, I want to challenge a common belief of the theory of multiple universes and timelines. Television and fiction has in the past and present often speculated about the existence of multiple cells distributed in various universes, or that certain events which transpired in our world happened also in a parallel dimension but had another outcome, because there were certain conditions that were different. That other universes exist, the Vedas declare, but all of these universes are unique, with different individuals residing there for a similar purpose than we do here. God is great, but no one has an idea how great he actually is. Therefore, the unending universes Mahavishnu breathes and creates for our residency are only an insignificant part of God's divine creations. Or in other words, they are just a spark of his splendor. There is one instance of Lord Brahma making acquaintance with these multiple universes. Once Lord Brahma went to Dwarka to meet Lord Krishna. He announced himself to the guard, desiring to meet the king. When the guard arrived, Krishna asked, "Which Lord Brahma has come to see me?" The guard transpired a message to Brahma, and thus Brahma got confused. "Oh, what do you mean by which Brahma?" he said to the guard. "Tell him that the four-headed Brahma has come to see him." Thus Brahma got taken by the servant to Krishna, and after paying his obeisances to the Lord, falling to his feet, Brahma inquired, "O Lord, you have asked which Brahma has come to see you. How am I to understand this? Are there any more Brahmas than me that I don't know about?" Lord Krishna smiled, and at that instant, thousands of Brahmas appeared before them. Some had 10 heads, some 100, and some even 1000, all representing the size of the universe which they rule of. Lord Brahma then felt very insignificant with his meager 4 heads and simply praised the Lord for his wonders. Now if you look at this pastime, we could say, wait a minute, this tells us there are many Brahmas, so does this not prove that parallel cells exist? Well, it does not, because all these Brahmas were unique living entities. It is similar to saying that the USA has a president, but over 100 years they had many presidents. All these presidents were different individuals, but they had the same position. Similarly, Brahma is the position of the creator of this universe, and that is not taken by the actual Supreme Lord, because he does not give much attention to this material creation and rather empowers someone who wants to play God to create on his behalf. Of course, that Jiva who takes the position of Brahma must be extremely qualified, and sometimes when there is no such qualified soul, the Lord himself takes the position of Brahma. But in our case, at least, according to the Vedas, our four-headed Brahma is a Jiva who is empowered. Anyway, these are a few reflections on these topics, and I hope that the Vedic Cosmology has piqued your interest.